Bobby.
This sail has been freaking disastrous. The starter won't start, and the motor won't start. It's the starter, I think. It's just clicking. And there's like 18 million boats around here.
And we have no autopilot?
No autopilot. Sake.
And what time is it?
It's 4 in the morning.
Previously on Sailing Doodles, Laura freed some sea turtles. In this episode, we sail 400 miles to Singapore, where we have multiple failures that make things a bit dicey. We're on the home stretch of our 15,000 mile sail to Thailand, and we thank our patrons so much for making this possible. We headed out about midnight last night, motored until morning, and now we have the spinnaker up, doing nicely, a little over 6 knots. That's perfect, because at 6 knots we should be there early in the morning. How you feeling about another 350 miles without autopilot?
I need shade. Shade. You have to sit here, you need shade.
We couldn't do it without these guys, though. It'd be real. It'd be with 2 people doing this. It'd be. Oh, I don't know if you could do it.
Yeah, you need that 6-hour break in between.
Yeah. So, alrighty, we're heading out. Singapore, here we come. Pretty uneventful day. Flew the spinnaker all day. In the afternoon, the wind dropped off to about 8-9 knots, so we were only doing 4 or 5. So we started motor sailing back up to about 6.5 knots, just because we got to get to Singapore on time to drop these guys off to catch flight. So it's been a nice little day. We're about to take the spinnaker down for the night, just in case. I mean, I'm not expecting anything, but we don't need the speed tonight, so why not take it down? Are you getting tired of hand steering yet? I think she's getting tired of it. Laura and I have done this already. It'll be our 2nd time, but now it's time for the guys here. We are almost to the equator. Equator? So, yeah.
Equator, cross.
So we're coming up on it now. We're only 440 seconds away here or so.
0,
0, 0, 0.
Here's our shifty wind.
Okay.
It's 8 a.m. and too sunny.
As we come across the equator, you can unravel these here. We have certificates for you. So I think this one is yours, Hong Jin.
Oh, legit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one here for Jun Song.
Yeah.
So by the power invested in me by King Neptune as a trusty shellback and captain of the White Squall, I welcome you to the Shellback Clubs.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh yes, thank you.
There you go.
Thank you very
Very
much.
good. Thank you.
Not too many people have crossed the equator in a sailboat, so congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
you're
you.
welcome.
Thank you, Roland. Thank you, Bobby.
Yeah.
Thank you, Captain.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
My arms still work, I can wave.
85 miles to go. Last night of hand steering. It's a bear. Carry autopilot spares. It's a good idea.
The Singapore Strait is one of the busiest shipping channels in the world, and even in the best conditions can be treacherous to cross.
Bobby.
This sail has been freaking disastrous. The starter won't start, and the motor won't start. It's the starter, I think. It's just clicking. And there's like 18 million boats around here.
And we have no autopilot?
No autopilot. Sake.
And what time is it?
It's 4 in the morning.
You have a plan?
Yeah, the plan is to get around all these tankers that are everywhere. Come here and video this. Can you see there's deuces?
Over 1,000 tankers a day travel through the Singapore Strait, and many of them at 20 knots plus and can be 1,000 feet long or more. At night, with no moon, they are very difficult to see.
Never done this before. At the advice of others, I'm going to try a screwdriver start. I've been told to expect sparks.
This was my first attempt. I did hold the screwdriver on there longer later, but I didn't film.
We're still alive.
Made it.
You did it, Bobby.
So the plan is, we think we can sail to the quarantine zone in Malaysia, put the dinghy down, go in and do it, drop these guys off, and then head to the quarantine zone in Singapore. And then the marina will send us a large dinghy, and they'll tie up to the side of us and pull us into the marina.
Are we gonna get a tugboat?
Basically, yeah. I mean, we can sail on and off, you know, at an anchor. It's not a big deal. It's we can't come into a marina like that. There's a million boats out there.
None of us had seen this many boats in one place before.
Trying to figure it out. It's either the starter or the electrical, getting to the starter, but I don't think it's the electrical. The batteries are good, the battery voltage is good, the cable connections all seem good. They're grounded properly. I mean, I don't know, I think it's a starter motor, but I don't know.
Singapore and Malaysia are only a stone's throw apart, but since the guys didn't have a Singapore visa, we had to drop them in Malaysia before heading to Singapore for repairs.
Hi. Come to Malaysia.
Unfortunately, it took about 3 hours before we finished the paperwork and could head to Singapore. Adding to our troubles, we had to sail into the wind and current and then 18 miles down the channel to Singapore. As soon as we could, we moved our Genoa track sliders forward and sailed off the anchor.
Not much fun doing this.
You need the exercise.
It's tacking and the current's coming at us too, so it'll probably take us 4 or 5 tacks just to get out of this little bay. You may notice a pattern here. She's doing the hard work.
As usual. The only thing you do is sit and be the captain.
It's the privilege of being a captain. A lot easier when you have a motor.
You're doing just fine.
My estimate of 3 or 4 tacks was way off. It took us 9. It wasn't very long, and we were crossing over into Singapore waters. Soon after, we started being followed by a Singapore police boat. They stayed with us for about half the time we sailed through their waters, and after dark, they finally pulled us over and talked to us. We had all the proper permits and paperwork, so they let us on our way. It was extremely difficult to see the other boats at night, and some of them were moving rather quickly. 17 hours after our motor wouldn't start and we began crossing the Singapore Strait, we finally sailed into the marina area and dropped anchor and were escorted in by a dinghy. Please do us a favor and click that subscribe button, and we want to thank you for watching this episode of Sailing Doodles. If you're really enjoying the show, please consider becoming a patron for as little as $1 a month. We've recently heavily invested in new camera and audio gear, and our patrons are what make it possible.